Let's do. How's our connections there? All right, guys, hold on for me. Okay, guys, we are back. Sorry for coming on late. I gotta get this. I gotta get this right here. We are back. As everybody, today we are in house. Your Henderson TV show. Foolish American politics. Let's discuss the issues. Still available. I got the t-shirts. We're going to try to get the t-shirts for y'all on the YouTube channel. The University of Black Power. I got the t-shirts down there. Get yours now. Cost is only $25. We're going to put them down there here in a minute. Man, how's everybody doing today? We had a good discussion yesterday. We actually did. And the callers were very, very informative. But we had a great discussion yesterday on ScrewTube. Now, ScrewTube has basically got us on a shadow ban regarding the fact that they wanted me to stop holding women accountable, the LGBT community accountable, these white supremacists accountable, white terrorists that we call them. So they got us on a shadow ban because we in the black media have been holding them responsible. Hit that thumbs up button if you're on YouTube right now, Lawyer Henderson TV. We're going to be live screening. People were asking about the film that we're doing. Yeah, we're doing a movie called Davion and Michaelis, a love story film, and that's something that I do as well. Filmmaking is a great avenue to really, really, show your craft or whatever. But we actually will have, once we cast the film, we'll have the cast come on as well on the Lawyer Henderson show, the podcast here. But don't forget to subscribe. Hit that like button if you're on YouTube. Also on Instagram. We're live on Instagram. So hit that like button on Instagram. Share the video. Do all you can. But we are in the building. Now, how is everyone? Before we came on, came on air, and I was doing some research on Joe Biden's 100 days in office. Okay. So we've been reading a lot about that. That's going to be our actual topic of the day. The number to call in is 516-418-5867, 516-418-5867. We are on our 101 YouTube video on our The Lawyer Henderson Show on Blog Talk Radio. Basically, we've been doing pretty fairly well. Okay. We're not there with our, like other people, 300 or 400 videos. We're not there yet, but we're getting there. Yeah, but a lot of people start, of course, earlier than me. They started like 5 or 10 years ago. So it makes sense for them to be ahead of the game. But hit that thumbs up button. We're talking today about going back to sleep on the Biden plantation. What we knew about Joe Biden and what we knew what he was about. And so now everybody's celebrating, but a lot of white women are not celebrating the historic vice president of Kamala Harris. And we're going to be talking more about that in the show. But we have to make everything official because, of course, my music is coming on. Okay, we're live. 516-418-5867 is the number to call in today on the Lawyer Henderson podcast show. The show basically brings you Black empowerment, Black power news, and of course, entertainment, everything. And we talk about everything. Today, we're going to be talking about Jim Crow Joe Biden. All of y'all who went out there and voted for this man. All of y'all Black folks who went out there talking this black girl magic, went out there voting for Jim Crow Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. And in the first 100 days, this man has shown you all that he is not going to do a damn thing for Black folks. This man has showed you all that he basically lied and he used you all again. We've been telling you all of that. And we've been asking you, well, okay, why do you want Trump out of office? Why did you want Trump out of office? Oh, man, because, he's a mean white supremacist. He's talking to us like this. And we don't want white daddy to talk that harsh to us. And now you got Jim Crow Joe Biden in office, and he is ignoring Black folks. He is not calling back the Black misleadership class. Is he? Is the Black misleadership class getting a call back? Nope. Those of y'all who's on YouTube, Lawyer Henderson TV on YouTube, go ahead and comment if the Black misleadership class is getting any kind of callbacks now that Jim Crow Joe Biden's in office. There's no callbacks. He's dodging their calls. Even his vice president is dodging the Black misleadership class calls. They're not getting no call from Jim Crow Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. And why is that? Because we've been telling you all in the New Voices of Black Media, we've been telling you in the grassroots that the Democrats are no better than the Republicans. Both of them uses Black folks to a certain degree. We've been telling y'all about that. But Black folks want to go back to sleep on the Biden plantation. And now it's time to hit the snooze button. And this man is already talking about, well, we got to get 100 million vaccines out there to people. That's the most important people. We have to get 100 million vaccines out there. Keep in mind, it's going to be mostly going to Black folks. This is a form of what? Genocide. This is the same man who told you, and Obama told you, oh, Black man, you should be using condoms. Oh, trying to create another form of what? Genocide. Trying to reduce your population, trying to stop you from having kids. This is the type of foolishness and devil acts that we're basically been telling you about. But no, you have Black folks out there, we got to get Trump out of office, the orange man, and he's talking to us like crazy. And so now you got white supremacist Jim Crow Joe Biden, and what is going to change? Nobody seems to answer the question. Jim Crow Joe Biden is already setting you up so that y'all can take this vaccine. And in all the commentaries we've been telling y'all about, we've been telling y'all that the vaccine has been causing, in certain types of people who have taken it, different types of reactions. Like one Black nurse had died. One Black nurse, she got Bell's palsy. So what kind of vaccines is Dr. Fauci giving us? What type of vaccine is this? You see, Dr. Fauci, basically, there have been medical experts who've been calling him out, him and Bill Fakes, but we've been not been listening to these people who've been telling us the truth. And then when Jim Crow Joe Biden, before he got inaugurated, before he got into office, this man is already telling you 100 million people should be vaccinated. Phenomenon. You got a 318 million people in the United States and the divided states of America, and yet they want 100 million people vaccinated. You know who they're talking about? The 100 million black people who they want vaccinated is black folks and Hispanics. Because we told you in the New Voices of Black Media that white folks are going to be a minority in their own nation. That's 20, so they have to do something. They got 20 years before they get outrun by the minorities in their own country. So they got 20 years to propagate. They got 20 years to basically bring some kind of formula, some type of agenda that is going to reduce our population and increase theirs. A lot of old folks are dying and stuff in the nursing home. They're not reproducing as fast as black people are. And the thing that you can say is you got to trout people like Obama out there and say, hey, y'all need to go and use a condom. And use a condom. And once you use a condom, black man, you'll be able to understand that's real manhood. And just use a condom. And you see they got, and anytime, and Obama will go out there, he will sell his soul for these white supremacists. He want black men to use condoms. And the black man said, hell no, why the hell are we going to use condoms with our girlfriends and our wives? That don't make sense. Okay? And if there's black people who are out engaging in gutter sex, that's their business. But Jim Crow Joe Biden and these white supremacists just like him, they're wanting us to basically use condoms. I guess they're trying to catch up with the world. I mean, they basically, integrating and sleeping with other people outside their race. I mean, they're doing a great job of it. But Jim Crow Joe Biden is going to have been telling y'all is that he is not going to do nothing for the black community. We've been telling y'all about that. And look at white women. White women were so upset. White women are so upset. When you look at how nobody really showed up at this man's inauguration. So they tried to play a little game. They tried to have people social distancing just to basically say that, okay, people support this man. No. If people really support you, they're going to come and show up at your inauguration. They don't care about really. I mean, they can social distance all throughout the field. You know how big Washington, D.C. as far as the field that they got when people come and they basically show up. Look at Obama. He had millions of people out there, But Jim Crow Joe Biden, Jimmy Carter didn't even show up. Like, damn. Jim Carter didn't show up at his inauguration. I don't know if y'all seen did George Bush show up? I don't know if George Bush showed up. Did George Bush show up? George Bush probably said, "Oh, this is not a legitimate inauguration. I'm not going to show up." And they still now trying to impeach the man. The man had left office peacefully, like he said he was going to do, and they still said, "Well, we're going to still impeach you." Damn, I told y'all about the Democrats. The Democrats they have no real remorse for nobody. Anybody who says something against the Democrats, against their ways, and also say something about, Joe Biden, or say something about Obama, or say something about any type of liberal, you're going to get you're going to get in trouble. I mean, right now they got corporations, man. If any Republicans or anybody else, they got companies out here saying that we're not fit to donate to your party. I mean, your campaign. You've been talking about liberals. You see, this is how wicked it has got. These Democrats have told y'all during Reconstruction they have never had allies. During Reconstruction, remember they told the Republicans, hey, this is a white man's nation. It should be ran only by white men. Now they're telling these same Republicans now, look, yeah, we recognize that we said to the white supremacists that this was a white country and it should be ran by white men. But now we're going to focus on globalization. We're going to be focusing on LGBT and immigrants. We're going to love all these illegals. We're going to have them come back as well. And you white supremacists, we know that y'all and the police and everybody, y'all on the same side. But globalization is better for us right now. And the Republicans, that's why they came, that these down hard conservatives, these white supremacists, the Proud Boys, that's why they showed up at the Capitol. They were upset. They're like, wait a minute. I thought y'all gonna be basically, in tune as to this agreement of how we're going to be controlling these niggers. How dare y'all talk about reparations and all this other stuff? These niggers don't deserve nothing. And so we have a different type of plan, you see. But here we go here. Jim Crow Joe Biden is supposed to then basically calm everybody down. Him and Kamala Harris is supposed to basically say, yeah, women, that's black girl magic. You can do it. Now, we're not going to say about the situation of how she slept her way to the top. That's another story. We're not going to talk about Kamala Harris and how she slept her way to the top. We're not going to, when she was down there with low down Willie Brown. Willie Brown, driving her all around in town and bought her a new car and did everything, and so we're not gonna educate women as to how she basically rose to the top. We're not gonna tell Indian women who basically, which Kamala Harris is the first Indian woman to become a vice president. We're not gonna tell you how she rose to the top of her of her success as vice president. She slept her way to the top. And if that's what she's teaching Black and Indian women, that's questionable. Then another thing that she's teaching you is you have to go out there and get you a zaddy. You can't do it unless you have a white man on your arm. Is that what she's talking about? Is that what she's preaching to young Black Indian Black girls, Indian girls as well? Is that what Kamala Harris is saying? In order to make it, white daddy has to be on my arms. So everybody is looking at the colorful Joe Biden administration. Oh, he got a Black man who's supposed to be the Secretary of Defense. Oh, he got a Black woman doing this. Oh, he got an Asian woman doing that. Oh, he got a white woman doing this. He got a white man doing that. He's supposed to represent everybody, all minorities. It's what Jim Crow Joe Biden and the Democrats is trying to fool us with. But keep in mind, although he gave praises to Black people for helping him win into office, he ignored Black folks and is going to ignore Black people in his first 100 days. And what we in the Black media have been telling you all about, what we've been telling y'all about Jim Crow Joe Biden, that he is not going to be concerned about Black people. They be using Black women, talking about all this old Black girl magic, and as soon as they get in office, they tell Black women, all right, now y'all get the hell on out of here. We done using y'all again. And we've been trying to educate our women and educate our women and educate our women on that. And they go back doing the same damn thing. It gets to a point where it's just become silly now. And Jim Crow Joe Biden, look at his 100 days list of what he basically said. Look at what Jim Crow, we're going to see, we have to prove it to you. We had people out there. We had a black woman in Georgia. She risked her life. Everybody was attacking her. Trump supporter people were upset. She helped to mobilize people to go out and vote to get John Ossaw and Reverend Warnock in office. And she paid the price as far as she's still alive, of course, thank God. But all these white supremacists started attacking her. And she had to hire security. And so now that we got the now that Jim Crow Joe Biden not only got he's a Democratic president, he got a Democratic Congress, he got a Democratic Senate. Now it's also now about ignore every thing that they promised as far as black folks. They promised that if they won, that Ice Cube was going to get a call back for his contract with Black America plan. And we've been telling black folks, y'all are so silly out here. When y'all gonna learn that voting is supposed to be a business transaction? You don't get people to go out there and tell you to vote for nothing. And that's exactly what has been happening. And Jim Crow Joe Biden, you had The Root out there, The Root magazine. You had Stacey Abrams all up there talking about, oh, today is a good day for Georgians and good day for America and all that. And she's LGBT. And you had all of these people out here talking about it's a good day for us. But then you look at the first 100 days of Joe Biden's plan, and he's not doing a damn thing for black folks. It's all about Muslims and illegal immigrants and LGBT and trans bathrooms. And you're like, wait a minute, where is your executive orders for black people? Where is it? Okay, this black girl magic. How is it paying off for us now? Or how is it, most importantly, paying off for black women who basically risk their life to go out there to mobilize like this Latasha Brown woman? That's the woman who had to hire the security here in Georgia. Now we're going to talk about it. The Root did a article on it. It's called "Black People Risk Their Lives to Get Biden Elected." Here's what he owes us. The article reads that Senators-elect Reverend Raphael Warnock and John Ossaw are seen as manifestations of the New South. But it was black women like Latasha Brown who risked their lives mobilizing enough black people in Georgia to make it happen. There were victories tilted the balance of power to Joe Biden, whose victory in the state and nationally similarly came from the sweat of black female organizing. For all the platitudes black women hear of the labor, few of them would tell you there is any magic involved. Brown was exhausted when she spoke to The Root on Wednesday night about the two Georgia Senate wins and the insurrection taking place in Washington, D.C. Most people see her on social media organizing or on television talking about her work. Offline and away from the cameras, Brown was suffering. You see? She caught COVID-19 while on the campaign trail, lost thousands of dollars for speaking gigs, and her consulting business suffered as she was organizing in small towns across the South. The death threats were so constant and violent that Brown had to hire security at her home and on the trail, places where she and her colleague stayed, burned down after they left. You see, these white supremacists in Georgia was not playing no games. They didn't want the state of Georgia to turn blue. And yet you had Latasha Brown out there saying, "We can do it, Georgia. We can do it," sounding like Stacey Abrams. And she helped mobilize to get Reverend Warnock and John Ossoff in office. And now where the hell is they? Now that they're elected, what are they out there? What is they going to do now? Goes on to say that her hope is that Biden matches her sacrifices with as much of his political capital and strengthening voter rights and COVID-19 relief that specifically target Black Americans. See, this is the reason why the Root magazine and all of your old dead Black media is unimportant. You think that we're worried about COVID-19 relief as far as taking this vaccine? Are you kidding me? No. Jim Crow Joe Biden owe us reparations. He owe us tangibles. This man this country owe us for 426 years for everything it has done to us. At some point, a debt becomes due. And here this article talking about, oh, the main thing that Black people is talking about is we're talking about COVID-19 and we're talking about voting rights and all that. That's that LGBT Stacey Abrams foolish talk. We ain't said nothing about no damn voters' rights. Nothing about no COVID-19 release because we know that it's a fraud. You got to go to the hospital and get all these diseases they're talking about. But the article goes on to say here in the Root that we need to see an aggressive economic package that is going to help those who are working class and poor people in this country, she said. Many folks have been pushed into poverty, not because they're not working, but because many of the safety nets have been unrivaled. So we have to right size that. One way of doing that is raising wages. Another way of doing that is expanding access to affordable housing, HUD, housing vouchers, and economic programs that are not just band-aids. You see, we've been playing the same game with these white supremacists over and over and over because we got old, stale, dead Black media talk out here. These foolish Black folks who keep on talking about all this, oh, well, we need better jobs and better way. They're just going to fire you from the jobs or lay you off. So you're back in the same predicament. They taught the same foolish game. No, what you owe us is reparations. We don't need white folks' jobs. We need our reparations and we can build our own society like we did with Black Wall Street. Black folks have to get over this foolish talk about jobs. You don't go to school. A lot of us go to school to think that, oh, well, we go to school and we'll go out there and give me a good job. Foolish. Ignorant. Hub housing, vouchers, all of these old beggary programs, like Amos Wilson said. The article goes on to say, now they're trying to talk like the Black media here. White supremacists stormed the U.S. Capitol on Wednesday in an attempted coup, showing that there is a little negotiating with the Republicans who encouraged their actions, with Democrats set to hold in a hair-thin majority in Congress in roughly 2 years to pass their policy ideals and nomination before 2022. And they recognize that the Senate or the Congress within 2 years, well, I'll say the Senate, I'm sorry, the Congress can turn back red in 2022. They recognize that. Okay? But it goes on to continue to say that Congress in roughly 2 years to pass their policy ideals and nomination before 2022 midterms, Black voters and organizers are hoping the president-elect bypasses the more conciliatory conciliatory style of his former boss, Barack Obama. From a staffing standpoint, he and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris picks are arguably some of the most diverse in the White House history. No, you had Bill Clinton, who had some black folks in office with him that were, you know, he had other minorities. Even the man that he had killed, what's his name? The brown guy. He had that man assassinated because he had to, you know. And so just because you put black folks in these positions, see, this is what black folks they see. You have some black people like to, as long as they get a job with white mommy and white daddy. You got old Negro Jim Clyburn. He's trying to get himself and Minaj, his daughter. His daughter is supposed to be the LCC communication. See, these Negroes like to basically get themselves jobs while the rest of while the rest of black folks have to basically suffer. This is what we've been talking about. This is the game that they've been playing. Women, white women specifically, was not excited about Kamala Harris. In fact, you didn't even have a lot of black women excited about Kamala Harris. That tells you how so many people did not like this woman. You had a few radio stations who's tried to play the game talking about when you turned them on this morning. Oh, well, this is a historic moment, and I wish Trump the best, but now history has changed, and we got a woman as a vice president, and everything is going to change. No, Amos Wilson has taught us the more things change, the more things remain the same. You don't have any kind of policies that Jim Crow Joe Biden is saying that he's doing for you. The Root go on to end the article by saying that organizers and political observers who have spoken to the Root have said his Department of Justice should take more assertive role in prosecuting police brutality and white supremacist groups, which the FBI has said is American top national security threat. Biden and pretty much more Democrats do not support defunding the police, but activists do want tougher penalties for abusive cops. A positive sign that civil rights will prioritize is his nomination of Christian Clark as an assistant attorney of civil rights at the Department of Justice, even as Biden Attorney General pick of Merrick Garland was met with a sea of eye rolls. Okay? So this man basically, remember that meeting he had with the black civil rights leaders and all these other black coups who wanted a seat in his cabinet. You had Al Sharpton talking about, well, I think we came out with a positive blah 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 blah. No, you didn't, Sharpton. Stop playing games. Okay? Jim Crow Joe Biden pimp slapped him just like you have, he pimp slapped his civil rights hoes. Go back and look at my commentary. He said, wait a minute, talking just crazy to these Negroes. I am going to undo everything that this guy doing. Don't y'all be coming in here confronting me, talking about or reminding me of what I'm going to do for you niggers. I mean, you black folks. And so, therefore, he made it clear in that recording that don't be coming up here and confronting white daddy like this. Y'all better back up. You see, that's how they talk to us. And the reason why they talk to us is because the old civil rights generation have basically told them, oh, you can talk to us, you can talk to our children the same way. And we're like, no, hold the hell up now. Younger black generation as well, the Gen X, we like, no, they're not fit to talk to us like this. And y'all not fit to keep on putting y'all knee on our necks. Okay? But the civil rights generation basically have got them to think that they can talk to us any kind of way. We're saying, hell no. Enough of that. Finally, the article goes on to say that organizers and political observers. Oh no, I'm sorry, I read that already. But let's scroll down. It's saying that, I'm sorry. Here we go. Central to any pandemic recovery is the need to make access to COVID-19 aid easier for small Black businesses. Now, there you go. There you have it. Okay, small Black business. Melinda Abdul, co-founder of Black Lives Matter in Los Angeles, said the administration should center Black healthcare needs, those who are wary of the vaccine. Harris will be equally important figure in the administration because of her stature and legislative history calling for better treatment of Black women navigating the healthcare system and going after big businesses. Now, here's the thing about Kamala Harris. You talk all of this stuff about saying that Kamala Harris is going to help Black folks or Black women when she basically arrested Black women for their kids being at home. She used all kinds of the enforcement of truancy against them. She had Black women working to put out fires while they were in prison. This is the Kamala Harris you're talking about? How is she equally important for Black women? How is she equally important for this administration? Who, by the way, both of them, as I call them, the jail your Black child duo. This is a dynamic duo who had done nothing but send your kids and Black folks to prison. They have a track record in the history of this. These people basically now is going to come together and they're going to get harsher. They're going to become more harsher on criminal justice reform by putting more Black folks in jail and prisons. There's nothing about this woman that the Root is talking about that sounds good about her agenda and what she's done. Look at her past. You only have to question as to what her past is. Goes on to say, though, that there is her willingness to go after banks around predatory lending practice, she said. She created this open justice desktop, which helped to track police killings in California when she was attorney general here. But then there's also her refusal to really push back on police violence. She had not been as vocal as she needs to be. So there's this emotional piece where I also want to celebrate Kamala Harris. And I'm saying this is a Black woman who also from Oakland, a base son graduate of Howard University and an AKA, but we have to make sure that when Kamala Harris take office as vice president, that she not pull back the Democratic Party and the powers that be to endorse a kind of liberal brand of reform that neglects this moment should be moment of transformation. She has to choose to make. Is she has a choice to make. Is she going to carry the water or is she going to say, no, we need to push it further? Remember that Kamala Harris, who went off on Joe Biden about Black colleges, that's the Kamala Harris we need. Oh, really? Barack Obama made it clear that just because he was America's first Black president, that he wasn't going to create a Black agenda. He is often given a pass for not leading with his Blackness because Obama could not get away with centering Black folks in ways white presidents can. And unknown for Biden is whether or not his decades of time in Congress have made him too friendly with the Lindsey Graham and Mitch McConnells of the world to force their hands. GOP leaders, GOP leadership held up much of Obama's legislative policies, just as they refused to bring many of the Democrats' bill up for the votes. Now, let's stop right there because Obama had, just like what Jim Crow Joe Biden has now, he has a Democratic House, he has a Democratic Senate. He had. And Obama was focusing on nothing but health care. When he can do executive orders like he did for the Dreamers Act. Finally, the article goes on to write that House Majority Whip James Clyburn, old James Clyburn. Now y'all gonna be talking about this, don't no. But old Negro James Clyburn, who pretty much won the Democratic primary for Biden by handing him South Carolina and the black vote, won't likely allow the president-elect to go without returning the favor. Christina Greer, associate professor of Fordham University, said it is fine that Biden worked across the aisle, but he needs to always be reminded of who brought him to the dance. This man who has been in Congress for almost 50 years, Greer said of Biden, these are people that he believed he trusted, knows, but he got blinders. Hopefully, people like former Congressional Black Caucus Chair and Representative Cedric Richmond, Cedric Richmond, and other black folks that he trusts can help him see that he got to walk and chew gum at the time. Richmond is resigning his House seat to join Biden administration as his senior advisor. Okay? So now, if you look at this, you see that they're now trying to say, oh, it's the Republicans' fault, those damn Republicans and those white supremacists. And you see, they're using what happened at the Capitol. They're using all of these things that, that conservative is doing. They're using it all against them to make sure that the majority of us believe that we actually going to get something here. Okay? And so that was on January the 1st. That was before he got in office. Now, let's take a look at what Biden is now wanting to do in his first 100 days. The top 15, I'll just briefly read through them. Immediately reverse the Trump administration cruel and senseless policies that separate parents from their children at the U.S. border, including the end of prosecution of parents of minor immigrants. Violations as an intimidation tactic. So basically, immigration. Protect dreamers, their families by removing the uncertainty for dreamers by reinstating the DACA program. Basically, illegal immigrants. Let's go on. Reverse Trump public charge rule to no longer allow immigration officials to make an immigrant's ability to receive a visa green card contingent on their use of government service. Basically, let me go ahead and finish reading that. Service such as SNAP benefits or Medicare, the household income, and other discriminatory criteria. Basically, for immigrants. Go ahead to number 4. Order immediate review of temporary protected status for voluntary population who cannot find safety in their own country, ripped apart by violence and disaster, and protect TPS and deferred enforcement departure. Basically, for anybody who wants to seek asylum in the United States, but you can't be black. Number 5. Restore sensible enforcement priorities by redirecting enforcement efforts toward threats to public safety and national securities in any workplace raised to ensure that threats based on worker status do not interfere with the ability to organize and improve the wages and the working conditions. Basically, it sounds good, but it's about, putting more than you niggers in jail. Number 6. Rescind the un-American travel refugee ban, also referred as Muslim ban, basically for the Muslims. 7. End prolonged detentions and reinvest in case management programs. that will codify protection and safeguard children to make sure their treatment is consistent with the best interest while supporting services. Basically, the children of immigrants. Restore and define the nationalization process for green card holders by streamlining and improving the nationalization process to make it basically immigrants. Number 9, and the mismanagement of asylum system which fuels violence and chaos at borders by directing the necessity resources to ensure asylum application are processed fairly. Basically, for immigrants or those people who are refugees, those people who want to seek asylum in the United States. Number 10, protect and expand opportunities for people who risk their lives in the military services and direct the Secretary of Homeland Security to create a parole process for veterans deported by Trump administration. Basically, for white folk. Number 11, surge humanitarian resources to the Board of foster public-private initiatives to support migrants awaiting assessment of their asylum claims. Basically, refugees. Number 12, and the so-called national emergency that siphons federal dollars for the Department of Defense to build a wall at the southern border by directing federal resources to small border enforcement efforts, basically immigrants. Ensure the immigration of customs and enforcement, ICU, and custom border protection, basically for immigrants. Revitalize the task force in the new American boost economy by entrepreneur increasing access to language and instruction and promising civil engagement. Okay, basically immigrants. Convene regional meeting of leaders, including from El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, Mexico, and Canada, to address their factors driving migration and to propose religion resettlement solutions to institute comprehensive multinational plans to address challenges that foster migration. Basically, Mexicans, Hispanics. Okay, as naturalized U.S. citizens and the immigrants voting bloc get ready to vote between now and November 3rd is what they're saying, blah, blah, blah. Okay, the phone lines are now open. You call us at 516-418-5867, 516-418-5867. We're taking your calls. Is we back on the Joe Biden and the liberal plantation? The number to call in is 516-418-5867, 516-418-5867. Please do not call through Instagram. Call the number 516-418-5867. Jim Crow Joe Biden is in office. And everything that he has done so far is for who? For immigrants, for everybody else, illegals, people who are not citizens of the country. He is doing everything for Muslims, everything for immigrants, Mexicans, people who are not even for this country. We told you that this was what he's going to do. The LGBT community, white folks who retire from the military. We have to look at this, ladies and gentlemen, as to why Jim Crow Joe Biden was not good for us. We had to take a look, ladies and gentlemen, as the reason why we basically as Black folks just do not get it. We basically have to understand what is going on here. Jim Crow Joe Biden, for the first 100 days, have told you we're not doing nothing for Black folks. It's back to ignoring you Negroes. And it's all about what? Immigrants, illegals, their children, Muslims, minorities, people of color, the LGBT, transsexual bathrooms. And that's it. You see, while we was up there saying hold the vote, while we were telling you in the new voices of black media and the grassroots not to vote at all, because you're not going to get anything out of it. We were telling you this. We were the ones who explaining to you that Jim Crow Joe Biden was going to ignore the black community. We were saying that. You understand? We're taking your calls, 516-418-5867. Let's take a music break here. All right, 516-418-5867. That's the number to call in. 516-418-5867. Call us right now. Call us up if you disagree. Call us up if you saying that, oh, we should just give Jim Crow Joe Biden a chance here. I want to hear from you. 516-418-5867. We're live now here on the Lawyer Henderson Show. The first 100 days in office. And we've already seen where his executive orders were going to be. The Dreamers Act, the DACA, helping these illegal immigrants who are not citizens of the country. We told y'all this. We told you that he was not going to do anything for us. We said that, ladies and gentlemen. We said that, listen, if you vote this man in office, he was not going to do nothing for us. And so, therefore, people were saying, black people were saying, well, we don't have a choice. We need to get the orange man out of office. Okay, and now that he's out of office, what is Jim Crow Joe Biden's going to do? Now you Negroes are going to see he's ignoring you. The black misleadership class, they're not getting their calls back. That is an issue here that we have to understand. And that is what is going on in the black community. 516-418-5867. Okay, let's go to 469. What's your name? Where you calling from?
My name is Caleb. I'm calling from Dallas.
All right, Caleb, what's on your mind, brother?
I got a question. How you feel about black voting Joe Biden?
How do I feel about black folks voting for Joe Biden? Okay. All right, so black people is basically doing the same thing that we've been doing for years. We've been voting for people who have been giving us empty talk. We've been voting for people who have not done anything. We've been married to the Democratic Party. And Joe Biden basically is not doing nothing. He's not going to do anything for black folks, but black folks are just basically, a lot of us, we just don't get it. We are politically just immature. And what that means is that we basically just do not have enough education to understand what voting is. Voting is a transaction between people. That you have to get something in return for your vote. Now, Caleb, let me ask you, did you vote for Joe Biden? Are you all old enough to vote? Okay. So if you were old enough to vote, would you vote for Joe Biden or would you vote for Donald Trump? And if so, tell me why.
I will vote for no one.
You will vote for no one. Great answer. Because the thing is that black folks think that we got to go out and vote. But they think that the option is Democrat, Republican, and that's no other option. Yeah, there is another option. It's how about we don't vote at all so that they can put our agenda on the table. Caleb, is there anything else you want to? Go ahead. Black folks are politically, socially, economically defeated because of the civil rights generation. Remember, I don't, well, you're young, but before the civil rights generation, you see, we had Marcus Garvey, W.E. Du Bois. They had an agenda that they set up. That's the reason why you saw a lot of black folks progressing back in the 1870s. But what happened is that the older civil rights generation, they started telling us it's all about jobs, it's all about going to school, it's all about praising the Lord. And basically, we have basically fed off that for years and years and years because our parents have been lying to us for a very long time. But so the mental issue here for I'm sorry, say it again.
Shouldn't we leave it in God's hands?
No, that's one of the biggest problems. Because although I don't denounce the fact that you shouldn't basically have a religion, the fact is that the black folks have been leaving everything in God's hand, and God is getting sick and tired of these Negroes. He's basically saying you need to get up and do some work. So that's the old stale lie that we've been telling ourselves is that some God is going to come and save us. We recognize that there's power. We recognize that there's the earth and there's the stars and whatever. But we also recognize is that work must be done. Other races, they have God, they pray, they have religion. But one thing they do understand is that they have to do the work as well. So just to leave it up to Jesus is not going to get it for us. And we have that empirically. We know that empirically. Sorry? What'd you say?
Jesus will solve all our battles.
You think? You think that Jesus is going to solve our problems? Okay. All right.
Jesus is the answer.
Jesus is the answer. Okay. All right. Caleb, how old are you?
Um,
You're 14 years old? Huh?
yeah.
Okay. So you're 14 years old, you're still young, and you're still learning. So therefore, you need to keep on reading, learning. Make sure you go into the library and get all kinds of books to educate yourself, and just don't rely upon Jesus for everything. All right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So is there anything else you want to say before I let you go? All right. So now back to what we were saying here. You see, we're going back to sleep. We are going back to sleep. And we know that we're going back to sleep. But not all of us are sleeping. Okay. Because when I seen that there was not enough people, or not a lot of people, I should say, at Joe Biden's inauguration. Okay, we have 28 seconds remaining on Instagram, but we'll come back on. We'll have to, because Instagram only gives us an hour. I don't know why, but we'll come back on Instagram when this countdown video is rebooted up. Those of you who are on YouTube, go ahead and continue to comment, hit the subscribe button. Also hit that notification bell when we come on, letting you know that we're coming on. Um, but don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Okay. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Um, but are we going back to sleep? Is my question here. I want to know, are we going to keep playing these games with the Democrats? A lot of people want to know what do the Democrats owe us? The question is not what the Democrats owe us, but what do America owe us? That is what our question is about. What do America owe us? Do America owe us reparations? Do America owe us tangibles? Do America owe us anything? What do America owe us? And basically, a lot of Black folks is not ready for that conversation, obviously. You see, the Black bootlegs, they have been getting all kinds of crumbs from white daddy and white mommy's table, while the rest of us have been living paycheck to paycheck, or even if we do have a business, we don't have these businesses like these Fortune 500 companies. So are we going back to sleep? Are we basically just down because of Joe Biden is in office? What are Black folks doing? I want Black folks to really think about that. Because see, while we basically had people like Latasha Brown, after pushing for Joe Biden to get elected, what is she going to do? Risking her life, getting threatened by the white supremacists who did not want the state of Georgia to turn blue. What is going to be the benefit for her now? Okay. And so this, but Joe Biden is trying to give 100 million people vaccinated. Are you going to take this vaccine, which have already shown signs that it's not effective, but it basically it basically is giving off some type of side effects? And like I said, one nurse had Bell's palsy. Remember that nurse? She said, at first I took the vaccine and I felt fine. Then when she took off her mask, you saw that her lips it was drooping. Is that the type of vaccine that they basically want us to take here? And why is Jim Crow Joe Biden saying it was going to be a dark winter here? These are questions that we got to ask. MSN did an article and it talked there about that Biden had released a $1.9 trillion COVID-19 relief package. The American Rescue Plan that includes $416 billion dedicated to launching a national vaccination program. Okay? The program aims to vaccinate 100 million people within his administration the first 100 days, a goal that Dr. Anthony Fauci said is absolutely a doable thing. Biden team will accomplish this goal by spurring increased vaccine manufacturing, establish new federal vaccination hubs across the country, making vaccine more readily available at local pharmacies, boosting hiring of frontline healthcare workers, and allocating federal funds to the National Guard and FEMA for assistance to vaccine distribution. You see? This man want us to take a vaccine that he know that he rushed. That's the reason why they wanted Trump out of office. He was not quick and fast enough on getting these vaccines out. Why is they want us to take these vaccines? When they know that basically it had failed through clinical trials. That's the reason why they didn't want the movie The Plandemic to be broadcast everywhere. If you're on YouTube, hit that thumbs up button. Go ahead and like, share, subscribe, family. Go ahead and like, share, and subscribe. We're on Blog Talk Radio, Lawyer Henderson, Cinema City Pictures, and that's Blog Talk Radio. Don't forget that we are also on Instagram. We have to understand, folks, of what's going on. We have to understand what Jim Crow Joe Biden is up to, him and Dr. Fauci. They want to basically give 100 million people a vaccine that is not reliable, that have shown side effects. My man, this is the reason? I mean, did we really vote this man in office? Did we really do it, y'all? I'm asking a question. Did we really do this? Okay. They also talked about that he was going to sign a mandatory mask-wearing federal policy as far as his executive orders. But you already know the white supremacists are not wanting to go with that. They literally went out there tried to kidnap the governor of Michigan when they got that. Where she was about to make wearing masks mandatory in her state. The Governor Whitmer. White supremacists are not going to go for that. But basically, Jim Crow Joe Biden is basically looking at a dark winter. And the question is for black folks, are we safe on the Biden plantation? I don't think we are. I think that I will argue that the Biden plantation will be more dangerous than a Trump plantation. And therefore, now we're already seeing that now that Dr. Fauci and Bill Gates got their way, how they're going to try to get the military to force these vaccines on families. Talk about, oh, go to this clinic, go here, set up all kinds of booths to take this vaccine. We got to look at this as being a problem for us. These are people who do not want us to have reparations. These are folks who don't want us to have or get any kinds of tangibles and something in exchange for our votes. But they want us to take a vaccine that have already shown you that cause side effects, that has failed in clinical trials. This is your government, folks. This is what they're doing. Oh, you niggers, y'all need this. We're not going to give y'all reparations, but we will give you this vaccine here. Yeah, go ahead and take this, niggers, and y'all can take this, and it's fine. And the reason why you should take it because we have a black doctor by the name of Dr. Kamizia Corbett. She's at the front line, so a black woman she's a doctor. Go ahead and take this. And this is the propaganda. We told the black bootleg that they were going to ignore them. We told them that you're not going to get the phone call back. We said that, but they were not wanting to listen to the Black Intellectual Society. They didn't want to listen to the black grassroots. And that's the reason why we can no longer rely upon the civil rights generation. We cannot rely upon the civil rights generation to get it right. The civil rights generation has basically sold us out for years. And so basically now it's time for us in the new voices of Black media and also the Black grassroots to take over the Black agenda. The NAACP, the Civil Rights Organization, Black Lives Matters, all these other organizations that has been propping themselves out, talking about they're speaking for us. These are organizations that we should not pay attention to. They are irrelevant. And the reason why they're irrelevant because we as Black folks say they are. But white women are upset because their men basically said, listen, they're telling their men, look, y'all basically chose a nigger like Obama before us. Y'all put this black whore or this Indian whore as the vice president. And that's the reason why a vast majority of them voted for Trump. And that's the reason why the questioning as did Trump really lose this election? He didn't have a lot of support for Jim Crow Joe Biden and his vice president Kamala Harris. And everybody understands the reason why Jim Crow Joe Biden inauguration was not as important as all the other inaugurations. You didn't have a lot of people there. And you had an ideal here of a rush inauguration. And they still want to impeach Trump, although, like I said earlier, he's already left. But what was Trump doing that Joe Biden is going to do differently? And that is for them to basically help rush these vaccines to us so that these vaccines can destroy our bodies and deform us. We're going to have a lot of people out here looking kind of foolish and weird and drooping by the lips if they take this vaccine here. When your government allows anybody to do this, it shows you that this is a government that's now have become illegitimate. This is a government now that has basically allowed its science community and Dr. Frankenstein, aka Dr. Fauci, to destroy its own citizens. This man is evil and he is diabolical, along with Bill Gates. Bill Gates owned farmland as well. So we have to also look to see that if we have farms out there that is producing food, what are they putting in the soil of those farmlands? We have to basically watch out for these white supremacists and their liberal friends. We have to basically take back control of this nation. We have to be prepared as Black people and the new voices of Black media to educate our people as to they're in for a rude awakening as far as what Jim Crow Joe Biden is all about. That's the reason why you have a Black media. You have a Black media to educate you. Going back to sleep on the Biden plantation. All right, so we got a few minutes here. So the question is now to wrap up is, are we going back to sleep now? Okay. Black folks, you got what you wanted now. Y'all got what you wanted. Huh? And you know who else is quiet? We're not hearing from the white feminists. Hell, we're not even hearing from the black feminists either. But we're not specifically hearing from the white feminists. Remember all this talk that they were talking about? Oh, wow, a woman should be here and a woman should be there. They basically, it's not excited that a woman is in office as a vice president right now. You see all this talk about what we want women to do, and now you got a woman vice president, and the white feminists went somewhere and just sat down in their love seat and said, "What the hell is white men doing?" Isn't that what they said? You ask for a woman to be in office, right? And you get that, and the white feminist is not happy about it. Why? It's because they wanted a white woman to be in office. They wanted you, Jim Crow Joe Biden, to pick a white female vice president. You see, that's the reason why talking that woman crap is not really good for black women, because the white feminists, if you're going to say that Kamala Harris is a black woman, even though she's not, but for the sake of argument, why is there not a lot of white women, white feminists talking, celebrating this moment? Why do these women not show up at the Capitol to congratulate this woman? You see, they must be very, very, very conclusive. And their ideal is not about any woman or women of color. It's about we as white women. And that's what they're trying to basically say. So there's not no coalition as women. And black women are the only one who fall for that game. They were wanting a white woman as vice president. That's the reason why a lot of white women did not want to go out and campaign for Kamala Harris. You understand? The white LGBT and the white feminists are not saying a damn thing about this victory of Kamala Harris. They're upset with white men right now. And rightfully so. Because they were expecting for their men to put a white woman in office, for Jim Crow Joe Biden to have a white female vice president. No, did he go out there and vote for a white woman? No. Did he elect a woman of color? Yes. Is she really black? No. You see, the enthusiasm is not there because this is not what they want. They didn't want her at all. They didn't want her as a pick. You understand? And so now white women, as I said, are saying, y'all picked a nigger in front of us. Y'all picked now a woman who basically is out there trotting herself like a nigger. Y'all are picking all of these Negroes over us, these Indian females. Y'all picking up people of color over us as white women, and we're upset. That's the reason why we're not going to support. We're going to go and vote for Trump. You understand? That is questionable and basically a slap in the face. That's the reason why there is not a coalition, like I said, with all women. White women typically bring black women in to increase their numbers. And as soon as they get what they want, just like in affirmative action and other programs, black girl magic sweeps away. We've been trying to educate our women on that for years. Same thing with Jim Crow Joe Biden we're sitting in all over again. Deja vu. We're witnessing again the same thing. The first 100 days, and Jim Crow Joe Biden says nothing about black women, says nothing about black people in general. It's all about your LGBT, transsexual bathrooms, immigrants, Muslims, illegal immigrants. Where's the black people's agenda? Nowhere to be found. You see, that's the reason why it's no such thing as a black and brown coalition. You're listening to the Lawyer Henderson Show.